All right, it's Mr. Haas here, and I want to talk to you about the different units of measurement that we are going to use. So I'm going to be using a meter stick for this activity. Actually, no, it's too big, it doesn't fit in the camera. We're going to be using a ruler for this. So as I mentioned in another video, you can see that there's two different sets of numbers on here. And the reason for that is because there are two different units of measurement for length. They are the standard unit, which is what we use in the United States, and then there's the metric, which is what the rest of the world pretty much uses. And you can see that they don't quite equal the same thing. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. So first thing, the basic unit, we're going to start with the standard, the one you've probably heard the most of, and that is going to be inches. All right. So your standard unit of measure is the inch. And that's about the size of an inch right there. On me, it's about the length of my knuckle right here. That's about an inch. Or even better, it's about the width of my thumb is about 1 inch, okay? So we use inches to measure a lot of things. My son, when he was born, he was 21 inches. Now he's about 29 inches, so he's still short enough where they're using inches to measure him. So if you look on this ruler here, we have 1 through 12 inches. So this equals up to 12 inches. All right. Now, if I take 12 inches and I take 2 more of these rulers, then I'm going to get what we call a yard. Actually, that's a meter stick. So this is a yard right here. And the most common place that you hear about a yard, the measurement is either in is really just is football. I know there's a couple others, but football is where you hear they play on a 100-yard field. The 50-yard line, the 30-yard line. So if you're watching a football game, the distance in between the big lines are about 5 yards. And then they have numbers on it every 10 yards. So when you hear the football, and they're like, oh, they're on the 10-yard line, that means they're 10 of these yardsticks away from the end zone where they're going to score. And that's your yard, okay? So those are the two, I guess I skipped the one. Those are the two big units. And I forgot to mention that when we have what's called 12 inches, we call that a foot. And I apologize, I skipped over that. So this ruler here is 1 foot long. So we have 1 inch. We then have 1 foot, and there are 12 inches in 1 foot. And then if I take 3 of these 1 feet or these rulers and I lay them side by side, I get what's called 1 yard. Okay, so that's the standard unit of measurement that we use here in the United States. However, as scientists all around the world and most other countries use what's called the metric system. So I am going to use the ruler again, but we're going to flip it over. And you can see that there's these smaller units here, and these are called centimeters. Now, you can kind of see here that an inch, you look down here from 11 to 12, an inch is about 2.5 centimeters. And if you're going to measure what a centimeter is, it's probably about the thickness of your finger. Mine's a little more than that, but right at the tip of my pinky is about a centimeter. So if you look at your pinky, that's probably the length of your nail right here is probably about 1 centimeter. So that is kind of, the centimeter is similar to the inch. So if you're going to be measuring something small like the length of your finger, you're probably going to use inches or centimeters. And we're going to be doing that in class. Now, if we get a bunch of centimeters together, now on here, 30 centimeters, 30 and a half, that's nothing, 31. It's not called anything specific. We have to get 100 centimeters. And when we get 100 centimeters like we have on this meter stick, then we get what's called a meter. All right, so this meter stick is called a meter stick because it has 100 centimeters on it, which makes up 1 meter. And we would use meter to measure how wide our classroom is or how far I walk down the hallway. We would use that to measure. We would use meters to measure that. And we often hear meters used in track and field when we talk about the 400 meter, the race, the 400 meter, or the 100 meter the 100 meter dash, or anything like that in track and field is often measured in meters. So we're going to be using all of those and the different tools that we have here in class to measure the different lengths of both your ramp systems, and how far the ball travels in your ramp system. And by the time we're done, you're going to be a pros at it. So can't wait till you're in class. Hopefully this helps you with a little more clarification on measuring, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Have a great day.